Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results in your neighborhood now at 6 a.m.
Now in News 6 Mornings, a former youth basketball coach locked up on molestation charges. The new details we're learning about his arrest as deputies say there could even be more victims out there.
And a local city considering making a big move in order to get results for a flood-prone neighborhood. What leaders are expected to discuss today and the ban it could bring. Good morning on your Friday at 6 a.m. I'm Crystal Moyer.
And I'm Stephen Montier. Bridget has the day off. I'll check on the roads in just a moment. But first, we've got meteorologist Michelle Morgan in for Candace this morning. And Michelle, I'm kind of excited about this weekend. Things are going to dry out for us a little bit.
It's going to be a nice weekend, and I think we deserve it. It's been so wet for the past 2 weeks or so many of us will have the opportunity to enjoy a nice dry day. So here's a look at your out-the-door info to get your day started. So we talked about drier days, not only today, lasting into the weekend and also next week. Fall begins on Sunday already, and I am looking at 3 areas across the tropics, and currently there are no tropical concerns for Central Florida. As we take a look at the radar, I'm tracking a few, again, isolated showers over parts of Marion County along the I-75 corridor near Kendrick, Martin, and that's about it. Everywhere else is starting off nice and dry. Water vapor imagery really showing that dry air aloft moving into Central Florida. That's all of that orange here. So that's why our rain chances will be nice and low, and the humidity will be slightly lower. Still pretty humid, but it'll be tolerable. As we take a look at your current temperatures, Orlando, Kissimmee, Claremont, good morning. You're at 75, 73 in the Villages, as well as New Smyrna Beach and Daytona Beach at 74. So your morning forecast looking good. We're looking at a dry morning, abundant sunshine. Official sunrise is at 7:13, and we get into the 90s today. So we'll talk about that forecast and also your weekend forecast in the tropics coming up in a bit. But now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
Was that a graphic behind you or a live camera?
That was a graphic. Did you see my yacht?
Yeah.
That I put on there?
I was like, man, Michelle's about to go out on this weekend. All right, Florida Turnpike down to the south end. If you're making your way towards State Road 60 and you're going to leave our area this morning, drive safely, but the roadway's doing pretty good. Four Corners area, western portions of Earl Bronson Memorial Highway, aka US 192 out there. Nice and smooth as you make your way towards 27. 429 also much better this morning. That overnight construction has opened up your travel lanes, and you're clear northbound if you're headed into Orange or into Lake County.
Breaking news overnight.
Within the last 15 minutes, Brevard County deputies have confirmed one person was rushed to the hospital following a shooting overnight in Merritt Island. It happened just after midnight at the Tropical Manor Apartments on Merritt Island after getting reports about a large fight there. Now that area is just off Jordan Road, not far from Gardendale Elementary School. Now when deputies arrived, they found one person had been shot. Deputies have not released any other details, including information about a possible suspect. Developing now, new details surrounding a disturbing crime alert in Marion County.
Yeah, a former youth basketball coach arrested, accused of molesting children. Investigators say there could be more victims out there. Now, for the very first time, we're seeing the moment he was taken into custody. News 6 Mark Lehman following this story closely for us this morning and joins us in studio. Mark, deputies say that man would also offer parents money for their kids.
Yeah, pretty unbelievable stuff. According to the arrest report, he admitted to offering to buy one parent's kids for $5,000 each. It's one of several disturbing allegations against the suspect, who deputies say used his position as a former youth basketball coach to take advantage of children.
Well, another Central Florida student has been arrested, this time accused of bringing parts of a handgun to campus. Investigators say they found the parts inside the 14-year-old's backpack at Ocoee High School yesterday. Police say they found the lower half of the weapon as well as an extended magazine and other items. Officers say they were not able to find the other parts of the gun, and because of the student's age, we're not naming or showing that student. However, we do know that the teen is facing charges, including carrying a concealed weapon.
We now know that the name of a man shot and killed at the Seminole County apartment complex. It's an update to a story we first brought to you yesterday morning as breaking news. Investigators say it was 32-year-old Larian Cosby who was found dead late Wednesday night at the Sun Lake Apartments. Deputies say his girlfriend told them she received a call from her ex who told her he was going to kill Cosby. When she couldn't reach him on the phone, she drove to the apartment and found him with a gunshot wound. Investigators say they were able to track down the man who made that threat, Nathaniel Bratcher II. He is now being held without bond at the Seminole County Jail on first-degree murder charges.
In just a matter of hours, several Edgewater residents are expected to fill city council chambers as leaders look at ways to help ease flooding in the Florida Shores neighborhood. Now, this is what it looked like at that area last Saturday when we had a rainstorm there. And, it looks like the streets turned into rivers there, and that's prompted leaders to schedule a special meeting. News 6's Ezzy Castro is in Edgewater this morning. And Ezzy, the city's considering putting a moratorium on new development because of this.
Yes, a lot of the residents told us that they hadn't seen flooding like this since Hurricane Ian 2 years ago, and they believe that new construction is to blame for what happened last weekend, and that is something city leaders say they are looking into.
Turning back to your weather, Michelle, we shouldn't have that problem this weekend.
No, it's going to be a pretty nice and dry weekend across Central Florida, but I want to show you what's going on in the tropics here.
Your mic.
Yeah, this is
I got you.
There we go. Crystal's coming over.
I got you.
Wire's too short. All righty. Thank you, Crystal. I think my mic is good to go.
You're good.
Mic check, mic check. All right, here we go. Taking a look at the tropics here, I am watching 3 spots across not only the Atlantic Basin, one area in the northwestern Caribbean Sea and Gulf of Mexico. These 2 areas I'm not really concerned about. They'll stay over the open Atlantic, but this area here, watching very closely, we could see a low pressure system form this weekend and early next week, and potentially our next tropical depression of the season. And a lot of models are hinting that it could head into the Gulf. Of course, we'll continue to watch it. We still have plenty of time to see what it'll do. Locally here, not tracking much. One isolated downpour over parts of Marion County near Martin and Kendrick. That's about it. Everybody else starting off nice and dry. So as you take a look at your forecast today, plenty of sunshine through the morning, warming up into the upper 80s by 1-2 o'clock, and then lower 90s is your daytime high with a 30% chance for showers and thunderstorms. So coming up in a bit, we'll talk more about the tropics, but now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
Thank you, ma'am. Roadway's doing pretty good this morning. Starting off where we left off a little while ago, Four Corners. The reason why we call it Four Corners, there are 4 different counties that come into contact with each other over there. Sometimes when they're on top of my brain, I say them, but right now they're not. So we're going to move up a little further north into Lake County. Claremont, good morning to you guys. Mineola, Montverde, no issues out in your area. The Florida Turnpike looking great this morning. As I say that, I do see a slowdown out by Okahumpka southbound. So just be careful this morning. Bushnell, you guys look good. Even DOT cam over at I-75 and the Florida Turnpike showing traffic moving pretty good this morning.
Thanks, Steve. The time is now 6:10. A News 6 investigation after a woman says she was evicted from her affordable housing complex despite overpaying.
Yeah, ahead. What happened when investigator Eric Sandoval got involved?
But first, a Kentucky judge shot and killed inside a busy courthouse. Up next, the county sheriff now locked up on murder charges and what investigators are saying about a possible motive.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Orlando Health.
As a working mom of 2, I know how crucial it is to be ready for any type of weather. From sunny skies or a chance of rain, from tropical storms to hurricanes. So whether the sun's shining or the storms are rolling in, I'm here looking out for you, helping you start your day, staying ahead of the weather, and making your mornings a little brighter. I'm meteorologist Candace Campos. Let's tackle the day together, weekday mornings on News 6.
The Melania Trump nude photo shoot exclusive. He's the photographer who took the now famous images. Next in Sun Edition.
Tonight at 7:30 on News 6.
Right now, a county sheriff in Kentucky is locked up on murder charges, accused of shooting and killing a district judge. It happened as he was sitting inside his courthouse chambers right in the middle of the day. It happened in Letcher County, a few hours southeast of Lexington. Investigators say Sheriff Sean Steins shot 54-year-old district judge Kevin Mullins several times. He died at the scene. Officials say several people were inside the building when this happened, but no one else was hurt. Detectives say they are still trying to figure out just what exactly took place before the shots were fired.
We know that it was an argument between the 2 that led up, but what exactly transpired prior to the shots being fired, still things that we're trying to get answers to.
Now, that sheriff who is accused in the deadly shooting is facing 1 count of first-degree murder. He is expected to appear in court for the first time later today.
Well, I'm glad they're able to stay there for now.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people struggling to pay rent these days. Well, we all had a favorite toy as a child, but do you think yours is Hall of Fame worthy?
I had a bunch of toys. This year, 12 classic toys have made the list for possible induction into the National Toy Hall of Fame. Among that list, Transformers, the Pokemon trading card games, remote-controlled vehicles, the hobby horse, which is now, I guess, an Olympic sport, the trampoline. Others on the list, balloons, Hess toy trucks, My Little Pony, and Apples to Apples board game. In the end, 6 toys will be chosen. Fans can vote in the Player's Choice category through next Wednesday. The top 3 toys with the most votes will be added to the top 3 submissions by the National Selection Committee. Someone's got the hiccups.
It's that hobby horse.
He's jumping around on that horse all over the place.
After doing all those stories, we've been doing stories about this hobby horse championships that's being held, in Germany?
Do you know what we're talking about when we say that?
No.
People actually
trying to swallow my pizza I just ate.
Pizza? 618. Where's our?
Yeah, but the hobby horse. I'm listening.
Yeah, she's like.
My favorite toy as a kid was the Amazing Amy, which is like a tech toy that it had different features, but then it was scary. So we had a love-hate relationship because that thing was saying
some toys are
scary,
a little creepy out there.
Yeah.
So
I had the little babies, when you have the bottle and you put the bottle and then it disappears. I still don't know how.
Where does the liquid go?
Where does it go? So that's what I had, little babies.
Oh, okay. So, Michelle, how's the weather?
The weather's going to be great, Steve. Thanks for asking. I am tracking an isolated shower here moving over parts of Marion County this morning, heading towards Martin and Kendrick. And that's about it along the I-75 corridor. Everyone else is starting off your Friday morning nice and dry. Let's go ahead and take a look at your hour-by-hour forecast for Orlando.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency? You ought to call Strata.
We'll see plenty of sunshine as we go through the morning hours. Temperatures in the middle 80s by 11, upper 80s by 1. And then I'm calling for a 30% chance for isolated showers and storms as we wrap up the afternoon and also lingering into the evening hours with a daytime high of 90 degrees. Now, I do want to show you what's going on in the tropics. I'm continuing to watch 3 areas. This is the remnants of Gordon, another area close to that. Both have a low chance for tropical development, but I'm keeping a close eye on this area here. The National Hurricane Center has placed a 40% chance for tropical development in the next 7 days. It's not going to do much in the next 24 to 48 hours. There's really nothing there, but atmospheric conditions will be conducive for something to get its act together as we go into next week. So here's what I'm talking about. I want to show you the GFS model. So fast forwarding things through the weekend, nothing, but Monday, a little spin here. So we can see a broad area of low pressure try to form early next week, and this is going to be a very slow, gradual development. It'll continue to pull to the north and northwest according to this model, and a tropical depression is possible early next week. You see that little spin here, and a lot of models are indicating that it could head into the Gulf, but there's still a lot of factors, steering currents. We'll have to watch to see exactly where it'll go, but as of right now, there are no tropical concerns for Central Florida. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast, getting you a results. 90 today, 30% chance. 90 tomorrow, 20% chance, keeping low rain chances through Sunday. And Sunday is the first day of fall already. Monday will be breezy with highs in the upper 80s and lower 90s. Now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
Thank you, ma'am. Drive times right now across Central Florida, not horrible if you're headed towards the airport. Everything in the green. 417 down to 528, 436, all clear. Even Claremont, Kissimmee drives if you're headed towards MCO. East and westbound on I-4, still a ghost town out there, 15 minutes coming in from Sanford to downtown, and 17 from Osceola Parkway. Outside of that, Webster, you guys are looking pretty good this morning. I-75 and the Florida Turnpike still clear, so we slide a little further northeast right there. I'm not going to miss you guys. The Villages, Lady Lake, 27 north and southbound through there, nice and smooth. So we come back to the metro area, and you can see we're in really good shape this morning. 6:22 in the morning, and I'm not picking up any delays on 417, 434, I-4, or State Road 50.
Thanks, Steve. The time is now 6:22. A push to end the rising cost of condos in the state of Florida.
At the bottom of the hour, what the governor is calling on lawmakers to do by the end of the year.
But first, a possible new benefit when it comes to those popular weight loss drugs. Up next, how it may actually help prevent heart trouble.
This portion of the news is sponsored by the Flooring Center. Get the latest news, weather, and more from the new 6 Plus streaming app. Download the new 6 Plus app from the Android TV App Store today.
So to come on News 6 Mornings, a fight to end flooding in Edgewater.
Yeah, coming up, the special meeting set for today after fed-up residents crowded a city meeting. What leaders are now considering banning in hopes of preventing washout.
I'm an insider. It's so worth it. Sign up. Be an insider.
Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
Now on News 6 Mornings, a former youth coach now accused of molesting children. The questions we're asking deputies about why he was allowed to have kids sleep over at his home.
And a neighborhood fed up with flooding are hoping to get results at a city meeting tonight. The solution they say will fix the problem.
And floating to space, tethered to a balloon, the ship carrying the out-of-this-world ride that just returned to Port Canaveral. Good Friday morning, Central Florida. I'm Crystal Moyer.
We've been talking about that. I'm Stephen Montiero. Bridget has the day off. Meteorologist Michelle Morgan is in for Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos this morning, tracking more dry weather for the weekend, and none of us are complaining about it, Michelle.
No, it's going to be a great weekend ahead, Steve. But for today, we're looking at that dry air moving in through the morning, knocking down those rain chances and hanging around as we head into next week. I can't believe it. Fall already begins on Sunday. It's not going to necessarily feel like fall, but the humidity will be slightly lower, so that would be nice. And I'm still watching 3 areas across the tropics, and there are no concerns or tropical concerns for Central Florida. Now, as we take a look at the radar tracking, one lonely shower here out in Marion County approaching Kendrick. That's it. Live look outside in downtown Orlando, nice and quiet. Temperatures are starting off in the lower 70s. Daytona Beach at 73 and 74 in Sanford. So we'll see a daytime high of 90, 30% chance for some rain here and there and some storms. But again, rain chance is even lower as we head into the weekend. We'll talk about all of that coming up shortly. But now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
All right, for the most part, we're in decent shape on a Friday. We did have a crash just come out a second ago that could slow some of us down. So I need you to be careful out here. It's going to be over on the east side, westbound Colonial, between right around like Lake Pickett area as you approach the Avalon area. 2 lanes are blocked westbound. Sky 6 headed in that direction this morning. Some mild cloud cover kind of keeping them away from that spot. But this will slow you down as you begin to hit the road. Outside of that, no other crashes. Thank you, Mark. Governor Ron DeSantis is doubling down, saying there needs to be a special session to address skyrocketing condo costs. He held a roundtable in Pinellas Park to discuss possible solutions, including zero-interest loans. DeSantis says he wants something passed by the end of the year. This all began when lawmakers passed new safety measures following the Surfside condo collapse. One measure includes having financial reserves for major repairs. Another requires older buildings to undergo a mandatory engineering assessment.
Just days after a rainstorm flooded the streets of a Volusia County neighborhood, homeowners want the city of Edgewater to find a solution and fast. They're worried that a larger storm could wash out the entire neighborhood.
As of now, leaders are offering up a temporary fix. Ezzy Castro is live at Edgewater City Hall, where many will be showing up tonight. And Ezzy, some neighbors are pointing the finger at an all-new development.
Yeah, so a lot of residents told us that they think that new construction has to deal with this issue and also some of the drainage system in the city. And the mayor here says they're ready to answer some questions at tonight's meeting. And we were there just yesterday to see some residents pick up some sandbags at that location on Hibiscus Drive. That location is set to open again today at noon. As for tonight's meeting, that is set here for City Hall at 6 p.m. For now, live in Edgewater, Ezzy Castro, getting results, News 6.
Ezzy thinks we'll see what happens during that meeting. Well, fresh off its successful test mission to the edge of space, a first-of-its-kind balloon is back in Central Florida. Space Perspective's Voyager ship docked at Port Canaveral with its Neptune capsule, which is powered by what the company calls its space balloon. Now, the goal is to take paying customers on a slow, gentle 6-hour ride to a height of 100,000 feet above Earth's atmosphere. News 6's James Barbero spoke with the CEO about Sunday's test flight and what it means moving forward.
It is all about access. And so what we're incredibly excited about is that this flight not only demonstrated the technology, because it was pretty much picture perfect, it also demonstrated all the way through the flight, from launch up to space and back down to splashdown, how incredibly gentle it is, and that is part of making it accessible.
The CEO is aiming for the end of 2025 or early 2026 for customer flights. A seat costs just $125,000. Space Perspective says so far it's sold more than 1,800 tickets. Wow. And we want to know what you think about all of this. Would you take a ride on the space balloon? Well, it looks like 50% of y'all say yes. 50% said nah to the nah. Take out your smartphone and scan that QR code on your screen or head to clickorlando.com/react. Let us know what you think. As for me, yeah, I'll do it when the price goes down.
Yeah.
I don't have $125K hanging around, but Michelle, what about you?
No, I like my feet.
Well, that's 50%. I say yes, you say no.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, it looks very interesting. It's really pretty, the balloon, the capsule thing. Alrighty, well, taking a look at what's going on here across the tropics. I am looking at 3 spots, 2 areas here, the remnants of Gordon, also an area nearby. Both have a low chance for tropical development, but keeping a close eye on this area here. There's nothing there yet. We don't have a system there, but the National Hurricane Center has highlighted the northwestern Caribbean Sea, southeastern Gulf of Mexico. Won't do much in the next 2 days, but a 40% chance, a medium chance in the next 7 days. So early next week, we could see a broad area of low pressure get going, and then long range models do show something forming in that general area. So of course, we'll continue to update you on that, but there are no tropical threats to central Florida. And locally, we're looking at low rain chances. We'll take a look at all of that coming up in my full forecast, but now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
Thank you, ma'am. Still watching this crash out on the east side this morning. This is going to be over by Lake Pickett, East Colonial area, but it's going to slow you a little bit down as you're headed westbound this morning. So it's just before 408 Woodbury area. Be cautious this morning. There are some lanes blocked out there. Hopefully we can get that cleared out within the next few minutes. Outside of that, if you're headed towards the airport this morning, nice and clear. Yesterday, I went on patrol with the patrol. I had Trooper Garcia from the Florida Highway Patrol join me along with Ezzy Castro and one of our interns to kick off Hispanic Heritage Month. Had the cafecito, had the Latin flair up in the truck. It was a great time. Head to clickorlando.com to kind of dive into that discussion. Today, we're keeping it simple. It is Friday. I'm trying to keep things on time. 10 a.m. clickorlando.com. We're going to talk about how speeds are determined.
That's something I've been wondering.
Yeah, I heard.
I'll tune in for that. Well, the time is now 6:40. While all eyes are on the tropics, some experts say Floridians should also be ready for a different natural disaster.
Yeah, that's right. Still ahead, how to prepare for a wildfire and the easy steps you can take right now that could save your finances later.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Freedom Health Medicare Advantage plans.
As a trooper, I know how every crash is going to affect your commute. So watch me on News 6 Mornings.
September is National Preparedness Month, an annual reminder that families should have a plan before disaster strikes, when most Floridians know about planning for hurricanes and flooding. But what about those wildfires? News 6 anchor Justin Wormuth has details about a recent wildfire risk study in this week's edition of Make Ends Meet.
And it's a fresh start for a young sea turtle after spending more than half a year in rehab. The green sea turtle, named Otis, was found in March suffering from hypothermia. And this week, teams with the Florida Aquarium released Otis back into the ocean in Palm Coast.
We did end up fitting Otis with a satellite transmitter today, and with this, it's going to give us information on where Otis is going and how Otis is utilizing his habitat.
Oh yeah, they're keeping tabs on him, so that transmitter will allow teams to track feeding behaviors, travel patterns, and environmental conditions like water temperatures.
I could sit here and watch stuff like this for hours.
And that's important information too that they're going to get. So
data helps out future turtles and all the currents and all that fun stuff.
The future turtles.
Future turtles.
Yes, the future Otises.
The future.
No, that's really cool what they're doing. So we'll see Otis flourish and see what he finds out for us. All righty, taking a look at your forecast for today, looking pretty good, not as soggy. We'll see a switch in the weather pattern because we have all of this dry air moving into central Florida. You're looking at the water vapor imagery. So I'm pinpointing that orange, that's that dry air, and that's going to bring down the humidity some and also our rain chances significantly. So we're not talking about 60, 70, 80%. We're talking about 20–30%. So hit or miss showers as we go through the next several days. Talking about dew point temperatures, we're in the lower 70s in DeLand, Titusville, Daytona Beach, New Smyrna Beach. So anytime we see our dew point temperatures measuring the moisture in the atmosphere, that just means it feels not as humid. Still humid, but not oppressive. So that's great. That's a win, I would say. As we take a look at live look outside in downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. Sun is not up. 7:13 is our official sunrise. We're starting off at 75 degrees in Orlando, 74 in Sanford and Melbourne, and 73 degrees in Daytona Beach. Good morning to you all. Taking a look at the live radar scan, not tracking much, picking up on some ground clutter. The satellite, or the radar here, is under that ultra sensitive mode, so it's picking up probably some birds or something. But we are looking at a lone shower over parts of Marion County, heading towards Kendrick and Martin, and that's it. That's all I'm tracking. So here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast for Orlando.
Your forecast is sponsored by Freedom Health Medicare Advantage plans.
A nice and dry morning, abundant sunshine, temperatures at 81, around 10 by lunch, a 20% chance for a hit or miss shower, 85 degrees, and then upper 80s, lower 90s this afternoon, and I'm only calling for a 30% as we wrap up the entire day. Now switching gears, what's going on in the tropics? I'm continuing to watch 3 spots here, 2 in the central Atlantic, 1 area there highlighted by the National Hurricane Center in the northwestern Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico. These 2 areas have a low chance, but this area I'm keeping a close eye on. There's nothing there yet, but long-range models indicate that a broad area of low pressure could form next week. We could potentially see our next tropical depression, and again, fast-forwarding things, it could potentially head into the Gulf. Again, plenty of time to watch it, and there are no tropical threats to Central Florida, so there's an update on the tropics. Here's a look at your 7-day, 90 today, 30% chance for rain and storms, 90 tomorrow, 20% both Saturday, Sunday, and also the first day of fall is on Sunday. Now it's time to check on those roads. Here's Trooper Steve.
Thank you, ma'am. So listen, you guys do this to yourself. So we had a crash that was westbound at off of 50 by Lake Pickett. They cleared it. Then 2 seconds later, a crash eastbound right there at Avalon Lake Pickett area occurred. So we give and take a little bit. So be careful, please, on the east side. It's the only place where we're seeing problems. Azalea Park, 408. No delays on 408, at least not yet this morning, whether you're on the east or west side. Kirkman north and southbound through the attractions, nice and clear as well. You come down towards Sand Lake and 528, pretty smooth this morning.
Thanks, Steve. Well, listen up, News 6 insiders. Hallow Scream is back at SeaWorld and features 4 all-new haunted houses, scare zones, and immersive bars. The event also gives you access to shows and roller coasters after hours. We're giving our insiders the chance to win 4 tickets to Hallow Scream. Just head to clickorlando.com/insider, fill out that form. You can enter as many times as you want through the end of the month. And remember, our insider program is free.
Well, if you're the insider guide, you need to take me. All right, a local city considering making a big move in order to get results for a flood-prone neighborhood.
What leaders are expected to discuss today and the ban it could bring next as we check our big stories. Nate.
Hey, Stephen and Crystal, good morning. Good to see you. Here's what's coming up on CBS Mornings. We'll have an eye-opening report on a topic every parent is concerned about: online privacy and our kids. See how many social media and streaming companies are failing to protect users online, particularly children and teens. Plus, it's another edition of Kindness 101 with Steve Hartman and his kids, giving us a lesson in activism. It will show us that you're never too young to make a difference. And we wrap up our countdown to the highly anticipated movie Transformers 1, out today, by the way. We will be talking with Optimus Prime himself, Chris Hemsworth. You know that he's very familiar with playing a hero. We will have everything you need to know, and of course, more on the show. We'll see you at 7.
Discover the magic of color at Crayola Experience, Orlando's most colorful hands-on family attraction.
Join News 6 and Advent Health Centric Care to get your free flu shot. There will be prizes, face painting, free food, and no appointments needed.
For the free flu shot location near you, visit getfreeflushots.com.
It's 6:54. Let's check our big story, starting with breaking news out of Brevard County. The sheriff's office says 1 person was shot at the Tropical Manor Apartments on Merritt Island just after midnight. A victim was taken to the hospital, and so far, no arrests have been made. Mark?
Marion County deputies are looking for more possible victims of a man accused of molesting children. Detectives say Carl Lombardo used his position as a former basketball coach to build trust and gain access to children, then sexually abuse them. Lombardo was arrested at his home, where deputies say he held a teen hostage and even offered cash to the parent to keep their child. Now, Lombardo is being held without bond on several charges. Anyone who may be a victim should contact the sheriff's office. Ezzy?
And here in Volusia County, some residents in Edgewater are getting ready to meet here tonight at City Hall to talk about flooding concerns. It happened just after some flooding issues last weekend during an afternoon rainstorm. Some residents claim new construction and the condition of the drainage systems are to blame for this. And the mayor here says they are looking into all of those issues and will be discussing more at tonight's meeting. That's at 6 p.m. Crystal?
Thanks, Ezzy, and be sure to join me at 7:30 for Breakfast with Bridget. Croissants with Crystal today. I'll be filling in as Bridget is off. We'll have updates on all of your top stories. We're also talking to an orthopedic sports medicine specialist about the link between chronic pain and mental health. You want to check that out on News 6 Plus and clickorlando.com.
And we're looking at a drier day ahead, actually a drier few days ahead. We have some dry air moving in, lower 90s. The first day of fall is on Sunday, and low rain chances last into next week. Steve?
We don't have much time for traffic. Things are pretty good. Let's wrap up this Friday.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
I ate up your time, didn't I?
Go for it.
Thanks for watching us. CBS Mornings is next.
Have a great day. Be safe, and we'll catch you Monday. Well, you'll see Michelle tomorrow.
She's coming back.
Exclusive deals, news. It's just a great way to know a little bit more beyond the newscast.